All right, welcome in everybody. Locker Room Sports Talk. Got an extra show coming in here for you today. It's our normal Thursday night, but we're going to talk about some practice. Alabama and Auburn. Going to take a look at some of the stuff they got going on there at practice and kind of make a good judgment, of some of their positions and what they got going on. So come back and let's hang out. I got some things to go over about one of these teams, and I'm a little concerned.
Welcome to Locker Room Sports Talk.
All right, guys, welcome in here. I'm your host, Big Matt, for Locker Room Sports Talk. Today, we're going to be talking about Alabama and Auburn football practice. Get over here and hit the peanut gallery. Hope everybody's having a great day. Hit the stars over there. If you're on Facebook, 100 stars cost you $1. It's not a big deal, not a big thing at all. I do appreciate it. So we'll head off and do with this. Ball camp and practices. We got some videos for the coaches talking. We will definitely go over that. See Bama, roll tide, brother. Thank you for coming by and hanging out. DeBoer and Freeze. They got some interesting comments. Grubb talked today, of course. He's got to get his in he's part of the team, and he's new, sort of. So we're going to hear from him today. We'll check out his video, and not very long. Jeremiah Cobb, he's in the yellow jersey, okay? Auburn's tailback. Cobb has broke his finger. It's not a big deal. So he will be back in there to play real soon. So we're looking forward to that. And also, Bama offensive line, to me, we'll go through these videos and start looking at these. They look a little slimmer this year, and we know that the board likes to play a little bit of a smaller style of offensive lineman. He does. He don't care to have the big, huge guys. And Auburn's defensive backs, I watched some of them. They had some speed on them. We're going to look at that. And also, Cam didn't make a big snag yesterday at practice. I've looked. I even looked again a while ago to try to find some more practice video from Auburn today. There wasn't very much. Bama defensive line, talk about some of that. Sheesh, man, they really do look ruthless. This right here is a clip from today. We'll go through this and talk about what we see in here. Got the volume off. I don't think there's no volume on most of these anyway. Tailbacks here. Everybody from AK Deer 0, of course, 26 is Jam, 20 is the Washington kid, and 9 is Richard Young, 4 is Daniel Hill. I really like Hill. That's Dre Washington, 20. He's bigger than I thought he was, 20. And, of course, Jam he's a heavy-set guy too. So they're a little bigger than I kind of suspected them to be. Just talking about calves and hips and butts, when you're looking at guys, there's Jam right there. I knew he was a bigger guy, but Dre, I just seen some film on him, like playing upstate. That was Richard Young there, and then that's Daniel Hill. I like Hill, man. I think he's going to be a real good addition for Alabama. See through some of the tailbacks here, and I got to get in my guy right here. Let's see. There's some of the linemen blocking each other. 72. I think that's Proctor. And I'm just going to make sure. Offensive line. Yeah, that's Browsford. Parker Browsford. Hang on, what's going on here? Oh, I wonder why rank it was. We got a big rainstorm coming in here up here in north part of Alabama. Offensive linemen, like I said, they look a little bit thinner to me. 71, that was Dewberry. And 56, that's Vandermark. Now, these are our tight ends. And we're going to give a special shout out here, too. And I hope somebody's watching from up on that. Bam, right there's your guy. number 89. Let's back him up a little bit so we see him one more time. 46. It's one of the – that's Keelan Russell. Let's freeze that here. Big shout out to Brody Dalton from Fife, Alabama. Brody started his career up there and he graduated from Fife. They were in our region. My son played at Cedar Bluff, and we were 2A, and we got called in the middle of that dynasty run. But Fife was on during their time. So my son actually went up against him, played him. I know Brody. I've talked to him personally. Every time I see him, I like to talk to him. His family, he's talked to his dad a little bit out there at practice once or twice. Super, just really, nice people, good, easy to talk to. That's Brody. He played at Troy for, he's there for 2 years. Had some pretty good yardage, had some touchdowns. So this is Brody Dalton from Fife, Alabama. He's an old Red Devil. He's going to be playing his senior year football there at Alabama, and I think he'll get to play some. You can see Brody's big. He's a big kid. Number 89. He's a large kid. I mean, I'm 6'3" or so, maybe 6'4", and he's just way taller than me. So I thought that was pretty cool. Got to give him a little shout out there. Some of the tight ends. And here's some deep ball throws from Austin Mack. He's 10. Of course, Ty's 15, and Keelan is 12. There's Ty. Nice little lob ball up here up the sideline to, of course, that's Ryan Williams, Hollywood. I like these little drills here that they do. They kind of get in the way, stick their hand out. That's Keelan Russell, 5-star guy coming in. Young, real young player, freshman. And some of the linemen, defensive guys, this was from today. Let me take a look at some of them. 22 is Overton. He's really, really expected to be really good this year. 96 is Keeley, a senior. And, of course, the linebackers and stuff, I think they're over here on this other. But this kind of gives you an idea of what to look for. If you're a real fan of these teams, we're fixing to talk about Auburn. It's going to get you a look at them, kind of look what they look like, what their size is and stuff, and how they play. Kind of how practice is scrimmaged out and set out to in these different, positions they play in, and they have different spots, different areas that they're going to play in out here. That's LT. That's LT Overton. Guys, this guy he shouldn't be able to move like that. The defense looks really quick, looks really fast to me. We'll get back over here. So that's kind of a look at some of the guys there. And we'll go right here and play this one. This was the other day. This was day one practicing. This is just some of the guys throwing the ball around. And this kind of gives you an idea. And shout out Bama Central and all those guys they get to pull in some of these videos. Ty Simpson. And these are about a minute or two. So we're looking at practice, talking about what we've seen, and we're going to look at Auburn here on their video. I couldn't find nothing for day. If y'all got something for Auburn for day two, let me know. Those are D-back drills, just kind of throwing the ball up. Ty Simpson, 15. I'm very curious to see how Grubb is going to do. I think we all are, to see how things are going to go. What's going to be the trend set for Alabama this year. We just seen some tailbacks working out, or the, touchdown Alabama, shout out to them. These guys down there working out in the hot, and we're just reviewing and talking about some of the guys and kind of letting y'all get a look at what the guys look like, out here in shorts and helmets. And, if you're excited for football,
yes, there is definitely the veterans and then the younger guys, and the veterans, it starts with communication. the confidence with that communication. And
he was asked about the defense
and just, guys in sync, right? Knowing the space that they got to cover between two guys in the secondary or the back half. And you can just see the gelling of that. And they're really, I can't really think of anything where it felt like there was a missed assignment, or something that was blown, really all day. And our offense does a lot of stuff to put a lot of pressure on you to communicate, to have to see motions and shifting and things like that. So,
he was just talking about some of the new guys, how they're fitting in.
See the banked reps that we've taken adding up, and then the physical piece will continue to happen as we put on the pads and add that part to it. And to a personnel grouping, we'll certainly be open to that. Or if there's,
Okay, the question was, with guys like Travis Hunter that like to play both ways, Coach, what is your take on that? And do you have some guys on the team, or is there going to be some situations? Is there going to be some opportunities for some guys to play both ways? And he answers it kind of pretty much like, to me, and you can see how you take it. I think we got who we need in these packages from goal line to third downs or whatever, the ones that we need to be in there already. But, there are some guys that have certain skill sets that maybe use some, and he's probably trying to not answer the question, so you can maybe surprise some people, have some guys play both ways.
A specific guy that has just a skill that, we don't have. But I think for the most part, each side of the ball has what they need. If they wanted to do something special, we have that on that side of the ball. And there isn't someone that is so much better going both ways like that situation to where we feel the need to do that at this point. You got Rich Young, Daniel Hill coming back also. Feel like those guys are healthier than they probably ever were last season throughout the year. And then Dre Washington, I thought he had a really nice practice today. You can see, again, a new guy that's come in, and now you're seeing the install a second, third time from spring, summer to fall, and how, just like we were talking about
and you just seen Dre Washington, seen him over there, tailback. He looks pretty big, man. He does, bigger than I thought he was.
As we kind of narrow down, and there's skill sets, there's different things that each guy brings. Body types are a little bit different, but in the end, it's not like someone is so much different to where it affects who's in there. We're just teaching them all the offense, and especially when we get into the padded and the physicality and the tackling pieces, that's a big part of it, is breaking tackles and being able to get in there and protect for the quarterback and do a great job of it. So, really, they're all competing, but really that's probably where it's at with those guys, and they're all doing a good job.
These again here, there's some of the offensive linemen doing their stuff. Let's see. See some nice balls coming into the frame here. Thrown out of the backfield. There's Keelan Russell. Look for a lot of big things for him. There's Lawson. Everybody talked about him yesterday, being, a big part of he's a huge part of the defense. Okay. We all know that. And he is wearing a knee brace. Is it a concern? I don't think so. They said he was pretty fluid, better today, with the brace. And I didn't see a lot of videos of him today. And of course, 10 there, I think that's, Jefferson. It is. He's a senior this year, Justin Jefferson. We'll see a lot of good things coming out of him. And 41 is Hill Green, 42 is Pierce. Just give me some numbers here. Latham is 20. And then DBs from Demaine Jackson's 1, Deshaun Jones is 7, and of course Hubbard. That was Jones there. Really like him. Another senior out there, and Hubbard's 18. So that's kind of it for that one. And so what do you guys think? I like the idea that the offensive line does, they look like they've lost a little bit of weight, and that's the kind of the way that DeBoer likes to play. Have their linemen a little bit. They like to be under that 300-pound mark, and then of course defensively, we've seen over there, and from guys like Russo and Pierce and guys that play this Wolf position. Well, the bandit position is a position for a little bit heavier guys, because this Wolf position requires a guy. All these guys in that spot, there's like 3 of them in there, and they weigh about 240 to 245. So kind of bringing up a thing with Tank Jones today, and, him not staying in state, he wants to play that Wolf position. Well, he's already right now, he didn't even started his senior year of football, and he's already at 245 or 250. I mean, he's already big. And they would probably, talking about Tank Jones here, he committed today to Oregon, plays down at St. Paul's. His type, his fit, now this is coming from people that are there. I'm telling you this from what I hear from people that are there in the campus, know the players up close, know their weights and sizes, and speaks to the coaches probably once a week. This is what they're telling. That Tank was a bigger set, and that him to play, he's more of a size built to play the bandit position, just kind of more on the end because of his size. But he wants to play that Wolf position. Well, it just so happens that the young guy that's one of the recruiters that did recruit with Lanning at Alabama when they were there back in the day, and he's the same recruiter that got Tank Jones, is the same guy that got Tua and Najee Harris, I know. So he knows how to get kids to commit and just move. Somehow he figures out a package, a way to get parents to the games, and that's just what it is. And so Tank Jones just didn't really have a place. The position he wanted to play already has 2 guys ahead of him. I know the Wilson kid and the Matthews guy in this class. For the class of 26, there's 2 guys in that spot. Now, could he have came in and took the spot? I guess, but he didn't want to play that spot. He wants to play in the Wolf position, and the guy at Oregon that recruits that position of Wolf that he wants to play, so he recruited him. So, Bama fans, you can't win them all. Are you upset about it? Yeah, but is it? And that's why we got to stop saying he's just chasing the bag. And I guess Nike wrote him a big, a big huge check and whatever. But it's not December yet, and we've seen guys, some of those guys in the DB positions that Saban got, before he left. One of the guys had signed to Florida and then wound up coming over, swapping over anyway, played a year at Florida, then transferred. So, last year, Alabama and Auburn lost out on Alford. He's also at Oregon. He didn't play last year. So, I mean, you just never know. These days, I mean, these guys move around. They may – either one of them could transfer and come back down this way. We don't know. So, tomorrow's the 1st. So, that's supposedly when everything's supposed to go down and all the players are going to flip and decide to go somewhere else, because that's when other teams are going to be able to open their bag of tricks. So that's just a little bit about Bama practice there. And to hear the coach talk a little bit. And you can find the one with Coach Grube speaking. He didn't go in a lot of detail about stuff. The one there with Coach DeBoer was a little more in-depth, a little more interesting. So let's go over here and take a look at Auburn practice, and I'll go through some of that, and we'll check it out here. This is Jackson here. And they're just running I call it clock plays. You're on the clock. You just hurry up and run up and set the ball. No defense. And there's Cam. He made a big snag there. Made a big catch. Cam Coleman. They come back and they just set the ball. And this was usually high school stuff. I remember seeing my son do this a lot. This is kind of how they would end their practice, on Thursday or something, and just kind of do walkthroughs and stuff. So we're taking a look at Auburn's practice. Cam Coleman just made a nice catch. And Coach Freeze has said, how he's looking forward to, getting the playbook in Jackson's mind and seeing how he can, see the field. And the whole decision making is, he talks about it here in a little bit because of the plays. Well, if it's an RPO, well, it does matter from different plays because if it's 3rd and 1, well, not just 3rd and 1, but where you're at on the field for 3rd and 1. So I'm really curious about that. Yeah, 2-minute tempo drill, something. Good to see you, Coach Short. Something they kind of would end practice with, or on Thursdays, I've seen our guys do that a lot. And just, clock tempo, just go up there and set the ball, and they already got some plays set. And this here, the receivers at Auburn they're catching jugs. Go out here and get their hands ready, and the machine's flobbing a little bit. If you don't put that ball in just right, if you put it on laces, it'll spin out. So, and they're working on some catching, just hand stuff. We've got to see some plays. Here's some receivers again, catching balls. And I don't know, it looked like I don't know, I don't see a lot of guys out here. Okay. Here's some of the linemen. Auburn's guys now, Coach Freeze says in the interview later, and you've already heard if you keep up with Auburn, that his linemen, graded out by, power group, in that all of them are draftable. So they could all go, I don't know, 4th, 5th, 6th round or whatever, whatever it is, they're draftable players. And, Auburn media, as far as I've covered and been a part of, listened to, this is the first time in a while because they've had trouble getting offensive linemen at Auburn lately. I don't know why. I just can't figure that out. You got supposedly the guy from Apple that's supposed to have unlimited money, and you got, Yellowwood and all these big givers and donors and boosters. There shouldn't be a problem getting linemen. The guys look big. Okay. It looks like Freeze is playing a little bit thicker kind of
the
line.
guys have, and do you have your entire group of guys ready to go? Is there anybody that's still out?
Yeah, Hollis is still I think he gets to go in cleats today. Will be limited in practice, of Devin Carter's ACL tear. And I think Jeremiah Cobb fractured a finger.
And that's not a big deal. I don't know why you put him in yellow jersey. I don't know.
So he's you'll see him in a cast that he'll be limited. We got to make sure we get that thing healed exactly right.
And there's nothing you can do, guys. Trust me, I've had broke fingers. Son, he played with broke thumbs, played and snapped the ball with broke thumbs. You can't really do. Well, they just kind of grow how they. You can set it and hold it a certain way so it'll grow back right, but there's not much you can do for broke fingers and stuff.
So he'll be in a yellow jersey also. Other than that, I think we expect it. There may be a few more yellow jerseys, but everybody else is participating.
Your starters at the power conference level, just the added depth there and the versatility, how much you like that, and what do you want to see from that group specifically here in camp? I know you've been excited about them all summer.
Yeah, I think we're in the best position we've been there also, and I actually got an NFL grade back from the first guy that's been here, and he has all five of those guys draftable, that are projected to be starters plus too tall. Right. So I think there's high expectations on that group to be able to run the football and protect the passer, and
that's going to be a key part. It's huge. Offensive line is key. It is the most important thing. We all know that, but especially the style of offense that he likes to run. They just looked a little heavy to me. Okay. I don't know. They look a little heavy because they're going to run. And if they're going to get in that rhythm, they're going to play tempo. That's going to be tough.
Obviously protection is not always just the old line. We got to get our backs and tight ends to be convinced that they're a huge part of that too. And our quarterback setting it the right direction. But it would be there's no running from it. We're not going to understate it. We expect that group to be a solid group for us. I think he's in a good spot. We obviously had a ton of walkthroughs.
Talking about the quarterback. Talking about Arnold.
Prior throughout the summer. We had one last night. We watched it this morning. He was 100% in setting the protections, accuracy. The only thing that is,
Now listen, you can listen to Coach Freeze. I tell you what, he don't talk in a lot of circles. He just kind of says whatever. And last year he threw the guys on the bus, wasn't real fair to the players. But listen to this part here. And if you just listen to him, he tells you exactly what's going on.
I'm probably not real clear right now, and we talked about it last night, he and I, on the field, is, knowing, you're not in a game plan situation when you're in walkthroughs, but all right, it's 3rd and 1. Coach, what tell me your mind right here when you have this run called and it has RPOs on it. What are you thinking? And that's a long answer, truthfully, because it depends on field position, score of the game. Are we going for it on 4th down? Do we like that matchup out there with the receiver? So there's a lot of things that we still have to talk through as you start getting ready for games, and even in the course of the game. The good thing is, you do have access to talk to him until 15 seconds is left, and so,
man, I'm just saying, as a fan of the game, that worries me a little bit. It just seems like from what he just said, Jackson's still he's not really ready. He's not sure if he can make the right decisions in particular situations of knowing, what the score of the game is, to if you're on that side of the 50 or you're on 50, to if it's, there's different plays for all that stuff. All those things come into account. He is 100% right. That nothing he said is wrong. That's exactly how I would think about it. It's how anybody should think about it. You don't just have a 3rd and 5 play, period. You may have different situations. It just kind of worries me what he's saying there. Like, Jackson's still he's not really sure. Okay.
It could be some of those situations where it is 3rd and short, and I tell him, you're free. You're free. You got Cam out there matched up 1-on-1. You're free. Or, oh, no. Get the 1st down. So there's some of those things that we really don't know each other's. He don't know exactly what I'm thinking yet. But
I don't like to hear that. That is not what I want to hear. And tomorrow's August the 1st. No way. I'm just saying.
But we hadn't really got into that. But as far as, all right, does Coach want me to get this protected here and throw this, or truly run the ball? I think he's in a good spot of understanding our mind.
To be a bigger group of guys, especially on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I don't really get hung up on the running back's weight, but it is good that you have some that have some girth to them.
Now, that is the question I asked coming into the season. I know who their running backs are. I know 2 of them very well. They played here in the state, and I've watched one of them live in person a couple of times, and another one I've seen play games on, watching them on TV through, NFHS or whatever.
But there's no doubt you need length and girth in this league up front. And
usually you like your tailbacks. You seen the Washington kid that was running through those drills while ago at Bama and Jam. Those guys are heftily over 225, 220. Thick calves, ankles, big in the hips and stuff. They're wide across the back. That's just what you like to see in in an SEC program. And he's saying it, what I've said. Now, when I say it, people think I'm being rude or mean. I'm just saying what I see.
I think at linebacker too, and it helps if you have it in the secondary. I tell guys all the time when they're recruiting these guys from an offensive perspective.
And that's important. If you're young and you're watching this, listen to this, because this is how they recruit players for college now.
When we're talking about open receivers, length matters, both sides. You know, you can have a shorter receiver that's actually winning a route by 2 yards, but the length of that DB gives it, and according to that receiver, it gives you no window. The quarterback doesn't really feel like that's a window. Yeah. Whereas if the receiver is here and the DB's there, I see that window. Mm-hmm. And so length matters there, and it certainly matters up front. When you're rushing guys on the defensive front who have some length to them, it's uncomfortable for the quarterback. When Jared Smith kind of, even if he's blocked, it's that window is a little cloudy.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, defensive lineman, you want to get your hands on the offensive lineman before he can get his hands on you. That's why, you know, people ask, man, my son, he's good. He played over here and he's a good player. Have you seen his? Yeah, I've watched him play. And there's a lot of good players. I've seen a lot of them. But you heard how they're recruiting these kids. They're recruiting them from that standpoint. They like that length, these arms to be over 6'3", 6'4" long, where they can get their hands on you. That's what it's about. It's about making contact first.
Because of the length. And so we've added that at tackle on offense too. Inside, Jay and all those two guys we brought in, they have more length and girth to them. Autry,
Autry's what I talked about the other day.
You can't have that in every single one of them, but I think our length at linebackers gotten longer and faster. And so that's yes, that's by design. You want more length and girth at particularly a lot of positions.
And so a lot of people made a joke about that. And, length and girth. And yeah, it's funny. But anyway, so, that's kind of day one and day two there of practice, and you got to hear from the coaches. And I want to end with this, and we're talking about Auburn and got them up here last. What he's saying is right. And Freeze, again, I'll tell you, he don't politic answers. You know what I mean? He don't just say, a roundabout answer. Well, Coach, tell us about your quarterback. Oh, they're coming right along. Plays are good, and we're getting plays in, and the plays that they understand, they're doing good with those, and those good plays are being understood. You see, you're just talking in circles. The good plays they understand, and the ones they understand have been the good plays. That's not an answer. Freeze just says, look, he's learning the playbook. He's still not sure in some situations on those third down, those things. He just laid it out there for you, saying what in this situation, third and this, or on this side of the field, that side, is there opportunity? Are we on this side? Because that third down play, I'm thinking, well, we may could kick it right here too. So see, that plays in where you're at on the field. And it worries me that he just said, I'm still not sure. That just worries me as a fan of the game. And two, lastly, on that situation with him, we know that him and Durkin have talked, and he's running like a zero-based defense where you're not really having guys run over the top to try to help when receivers are cutting up the sideline on one-on-ones. So that's giving Jackson confidence that he's trying to build this kid up. I understand that completely. And it's not that he's doing the wrong thing. But do you want to do that right now? Dude, it's August, it's tomorrow. To me, I would want him to be seeing my best offense. I want Durkin. I'm going to go to him before practice and tell him, hey, look, I want to do it this way. Sorry. I want to make sure that he's seeing the best that we got, and I don't want to know the defense you're going to call. But calling base zero for Jackson is not. I don't think it's helping him. I don't think it's helping the team. Iron sharpens iron. And any coach that you go to and talk to when they're out there running their offense, there are situations for that. I'm not saying don't do it at all, and I'm not. So you don't have to comment. So, well, who tees off on their quarterback? You just lighten your quarterback's face off? I mean, is that what they do over in Georgia? They do that? No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying slang the quarterback on the ground. I'm saying how they run their coverages. They're not giving Jackson a real look. And that worries me because when he goes and – dude, Aranda, he was dropping 3 off the line last year in one of their games at Baylor, and they were picking balls off, rushing a linebacker and dropping a nose in the middle of a coverage. I mean, he's good. Dave Aranda's a good defensive play caller. He is going to have all kind of stuff going on. And that worries me because he seems like he's not sure about situations of what to do with the ball some. This is what Freeze just said. And then they're kind of poo-pooing practice a little bit too much. There's some like those tempo drills that they were doing when they started watching this first. I get that. You're just running plays. You're just running tempo, and you have a group of plays you're going to play off this card to try to you're just trying to not even really get a first down. You're trying to just get the ball and get out of bounds, stop the clock, and practice on your tempo stuff. But to just kind of run base zero, I'm just telling you, I don't like it. And I got Auburn picked to beat Baylor by 2 touchdowns. But this is what's happening. This is how he's doing the practice. How could it not? You got to scratch your head a little bit and go, really? Who else is doing that? And we got a lot of new quarterbacks. There's a lot of new quarterbacks all around the land. I have heard of people doing that when you're bringing in a guy or doing it with like a second team guy, especially like at Bama, Russell, freshman kid out of high school, maybe run some base zero stuff just to get him in a rhythm and a feel of the game and what you're doing and being used to the speed of his receivers and getting the plays in, checking his band, how things are different, learning the playbook. Jackson Arnold has started and played college football. And we're throwing a zero base, and, they're not sweeping over the top, and you're not trying to zone out or cover and help on, plays up the sideline or something. I'm just saying. It's kind of worrisome to me. I don't know about that. What's up, Birds? How can Jackson hit the curve if all they're doing is throwing BP? I know. That's what I'm saying. How's he going to hit the curveball if they're just, lobbing stuff up there underhanded up there at the plate? I mean, it's good to have practice, and we're not saying that's all of a sudden heard of run base zero just to have quarterbacks out there throwing to a base defense. That's not it at all. It's the same thing as doing soft toss in the fence, letting kids hit the ball. It's getting their hands to the ball and just seeing it real quick, up front pitch, bang, hit in the fence, that type of stuff. We're talking about it at practice, and you're still running this kind of practice. It's August. They got a game in just weeks. And it's not just – they're not going to play South Alabama first. They're going to play Dave Aranda at Baylor. Dude he's got all kind of crazy stuff he's going to call. Like I said, I seen him dropping linemen in coverage and then rushing linebackers. So, I mean, he just totally – quarterback sees it, and he's like, oh my God. The lineman just dropped out, and then you're like, okay, you're trying to go, and then the linebackers come. It's just a total nightmare. And if that freaks him out, and he just said too about situations, and we're still talking, and he wants to know if it's RPO, if I have this look on this down, and what am I looking for here, or what do you like, coach, to do here? I don't want to hear that. I want my quarterback to be the freaking leader of the team and read the play and look down the line at the defense over there and go, I know what defense they're running. I've studied film on this. I know what we're in, and I know what I can swap out of. I know this end, if he's coming down hard, then I'm just pulling the ball and I'm going to run out right out there where he was at. Or if he stumbles his feet and stays, I'm going to hand it and we're going to go across the other way. That's what I'm talking about. If he's not sure, and I'm sure most of you've got the NCAA football game, turn on some of those other teams that run a multi-style offense and run some of that option stuff. You just got to read that end. You can either pull it, run it, or hand it, or throw it. And Freeze, based off last year and knowing how he likes to coach, so I've seen him coach at Liberty too, he likes to create a one-on-one with a guy up the sideline. Like he said there in this interview, hey, look, well, I got a good matchup over here with Cam. I should about throw that ball. This got to go him. Or if not, you got to go, no, that's not the play we're going to make. We're just going to dump it here short. That worries me. It just does. Dude cannot lose to Baylor. I just don't want to hear. I get called a bammer and all that stuff, and that's fine. We have a good time. I've been on Twitter for 3 days. Actually, on Zach Blackerby, Locked on Auburn, on his Twitter, he made a comment about the game, about expectations. I've been on there for 3 days arguing with fools from Baylor that Auburn's going to beat them. I just do. I think that's they can't lose that game. Okay? Now, we'll finish with Bama. They're going to play Florida State first, and we'll break it down even more, I'm sure, as it gets closer to time. By looking at this skill, their lineman looks better. You are starting a new quarterback, but he's been there. But you got a new OC, so you got some plays changing again. So Ty's got to get used to those plays, and you hope that they've done that in the spring, and you hope that they're not running a base zero defense out there in scrimmage. You want Womack to run his best defense to give Ty a great look. You want practice to be harder than the game. You're not supposed to show up at the game on Saturday and go, oh, gosh, this is terrible. I have no idea what's going on. You're supposed to go, golly, practice sucked this week. And you get down to the first quarter and you go, well, that's nothing. Golly, we're ready for this. We're just going out here and have fun and win the game. That's what we're hoping for both these teams. That's what you're hoping for. I think Bama's they should, both those teams here that we're talking about today, they should both win those games by 2 touchdowns. And the Baylor people on Twitter, they're yakking about quarterback plays better at Baylor that the kid they had. And I watched him play against Utah, and one other game I watched some highlights of him play. Wasn't Colorado. He didn't go in that one. He throwed some picks, and so was Jackson Arnold. I just don't think that the Big 12, Baylor's not one of their higher priority teams, one of their uppity teams. The Big 12 lost their 2 best teams. They're out here now. This Texas and Oklahoma. Who's the bell cow for them now? I still think that our medium teams should blow away the medium teams of the Big 12. I just do. Ain't nobody can tell me that team. We'll pull this up here again, just to make some sense of it. There's no way you're telling me, I'm just not going along with it, that this group of guys right here, a lot of these guys are back from Smith, Crawford. Winters is a good player. I don't know much about Starr. Woodby, I've heard a lot of guys talking about him. Champ Anthony, he's going to be back. I think he's a good player. Caleb Harris, heard a lot of talk about him too. There's no way. I just don't. It had to be coaching. It would have to be. There's no way that these guys are losing to Baylor. There's no way. It can't happen. We can't lose to, well, who's Auburn? What are they? Well, I know. They ain't been good for a while. But I still think that our mid teams are better than their mid teams. What up, Zachary? We was talking about some Alabama Auburn football practice. Went through some coaches, them talking about practice and stuff today and yesterday some. And I'm just saying, there's no way Baylor should beat Auburn. There's not. Now, Bama side here, these guys have plenty of skill guys. Their receiving core is probably one of the best, or they're top 5 in the nation, just their receiving core. Offensive line's got a lot of guys back. Yeah, but Matt, y'all all hollered last year. They suck. Offensive line was terrible. I think that the quarterback put them in a lot of bad positions because they're blocking assignments. He wasn't following along with those assignments. Just saying. But defensively, old boys running off the mouth in there at Florida State talking about they're going to call Bama up, and that's fine. That's fine, man. People that's being disrespectful, that stuff will be dealt with. It's going to be dealt with. Because these big boys here, I just don't think that – I don't see it. I don't think that that Florida State can match up. I just don't see it. There's no way this team here is losing to Florida State. Some of these guys are freshmen, and I just went through their defensive stuff. Guys, the only defensive guys that are seniors that are like there's probably about 5 seniors that are just going to graduate and they haven't never really played a lot. But like Hill Green, number 41, and then Jefferson, he's number 10, he's a senior. And then DBs like Demaine Jackson, Deshaun Jones, and Hubbard. Well, I mean, just Jones and Jackson are seniors. Hubbard's a junior. He come back and play again. He just can't make me believe that Baylor or Florida State's going to be able to beat either one of these teams. Auburn should be able to out-athlete Baylor. Quarterback play, Jackson should fit what Freeze likes to do. It should be just right up his alley. The quick little side turn handoff. You ain't even looking at the running back. You turn with the ball and you're watching the defense, whether you're going to pull it and run it or you're going to quick throw it. Freeze, again, likes those one-on-one matchups. You catch a guy one-on-one with somebody up the sideline somewhere, and they'll throw it. They'll catch you out of position, and they'll throw the ball down the sideline. And you got a guy like Cam that's got all kind of talent. Super, super athlete. He was a top guy in the state. I know Ryan was 2-time Mr. Alabama as a sophomore and junior, but remember, he didn't play his senior year. He forego that to come play college. So there's not a whole lot of senior guys on the Bama team there defensively. All these guys are going to be back, going to play next year. So to me, seeing the offensive line, they look slimmer. That's the notes that we started off with today. I think Alabama's offensive line looks slimmer. I think Freeze did say, I noticed it before I seen him talk, that their linebackers and stuff did have – they're a little heftier. I talked about Autry Sunday, I think. Maybe Tuesday I did a spot on him. He's a young guy. You need to keep Malik Autry. It's a guy to keep watch for Auburn fans. And so they're linebacker and DB-wise, they don't have a lot of depth at DB. You could see in the videos there that they didn't have a ton of guys, and I just brought the image up there. They got pretty good first team. And a few second-team guys are going to be pretty good, but after that, they don't have a lot. And also, we talked about Cobb. He hurt his finger. He's in a jersey. And then Lawson, All-American guy, probably could have went and played, could have went to the league, but when he come back, he's in a knee brace at practice. I didn't see him today. I just had 1 or 2 videos I looked through, and I didn't see him. I don't know if saying he was at practice, but I didn't see him, so. Let's see what's up, Zach. The whole summer of honing in their craft. Yeah. Yeah, Jackson is a wild card. We've seen him last year, and he did get beat up. And that's another thing. Yeah, Jackson. Oklahoma didn't have much of an offensive line, and they had none of their receivers. I don't know. Man, I just really like to bet on this game. I'm not a betting guy. There's no way Auburn can lose to these guys. They should have won at least 7 games last year. And I think some of it is just from coach. I think there were some bad calls in certain situations. I don't know if the guys, it takes time for the staff to gel some too. And he's added pieces here or there. I mean, everybody wants to compare everybody to Nick Saban, which is not fair. It's just absolutely ridiculous to compare any coach to Saban. It's not fair. Auburn's schedule, dude, they play Georgia and Alabama every year. It's like their biggest rivalry. It's tough. They've been in such a bad design since after Gus left. It's been years. It's going to take time. And I know nobody is patient. Nobody is patient, especially Auburn fans. They've been through a lot of crap, and it's been 10, 11 years or so since they've really probably had a really good team. They've had some good teams in between here or there, but they're ready to get back and play for it. They're tired of hearing about it. And Auburn, y'all got to beat Baylor. I've been on Twitter for 3 days on Zach Blackerby's. He runs Locked On Auburn. He was asking about the Baylor game. I've been taking shots from Baylor guys on Twitter for days, telling me I'm stupid and, whoa, look at your video there. You got 1,000 views. Woo, and this guy's got 68 followers. I mean, I'm taking shots over here. It ain't but like one Auburn fan come in and tried to tie up with me a little bit and tag in and give the guys a little bit of facts. Because I just don't think that the Big 12 and their lower teams, they should not be matching up with Auburn. I know they only won 5 games last year. I just don't see it. You cannot lose this game. SEC, we got to get better. We got to do better. I mean, I got them by 2 touchdowns. I mean, I put on there that Auburn wins by 12. Bless their heart, Zach's. 1 million dummies don't equal 1 smart football mind. Well, there's just no way. You can't make me believe that this group of guys right here can't go out there and bust old Baylor, their quarterback. And he's throwed for like 4,000 yards. He's great. What are you talking about? So we're only talking about out of high school rankings. This is what I'm hearing. So we're just going by high school. What when they come out? Is that all we're going by? No. Well, I'm looking at how they both played last year. I watched old homeboy play against Utah, and Utah was not good last year. That was not their time. It's all going to depend on the one thing that's going to keep Freeze's job, and that's the quarterback. And from what I just heard in that interview, him say, and Freeze don't just kind of dance questions. He just said, hey, look, we're still talking out there in the field the other day about situations. They're down situations. Coach, what are you going to do here in RPO? That does worry me. And then running base zero defense all the practice, not letting guys scout over the top and scoot over and help on the backside if you're playing – because Baylor's not going to play base zero. Random may be in a cover 4 with blitzing one of the safeties or something and drop a guy. I don't know. Dude, he'll have some kind of crazy stuff. You're not doing Arnold any favors if you're just – that's all that he's seeing at practice because we just got to build his confidence. His confidence, dude, he's a freaking college football player. He's not a freshman. I understand if you trying to build up, Deuce Knight and help him along the way, not trying to swarm him out there. And he's seeing cover 6 with a double spy or something. You're starting quarterback. I guess we'll find out, Zach. But you can't do it. I would bet $100 that Gunnar Stockton, Georgia QB, and Kirby has a lot to do with their defense. I would bet money that Stockton is not seeing base zero at practice very much at all, if any. He's seeing the best they got. That's what makes them so good. What do you think made A.J. McCarron the best quarterback Bama had? Throwed for the yards, got 3 rings, got SEC titles, 9,000 yards passing. He's my guy. He's the guy I think. And some people say Tua or Bryce, and that's fine. Everybody can have their own opinion. Go back and look at the years that AJ played. That defenses that AJ played against at practice, there was first-round draft picks all over the field. He's talked about before how frustrated he'd be after practice to just completely blowing it and missing stuff and guys picking the balls off. And it was hard. And then when he went to the game, he was like, good gracious, man, their guys are not like ours. This is easy. Iron always sharpens iron. It's always going to be that way. You need to see somebody's best. And when you're practicing against each other, I want your best. You go out there and bust his tail. He's your teammate. I don't care. You go out there and fire his head off and you make your teammate better. You don't go out there and just lollygag and loaf and lean up on your 2 linemen, same team, just blocking each other, just leaned up on each other and stuff. That's just sorry. It's not helping the team. It's not making you better, and you're not being a good teammate. You're not making him any better by just giving half effort. Practice is supposed to be hard. I don't think that – I guarantee you Nussmeier at LSU, them boys ain't seeing no poo-poo defense. When he's out there practicing, he's going against the best they got. And if you don't think Dave Aranda at Baylor is not a good play caller, then you just ain't been watching football long. He's going to have that first drive. He's already got it, probably a basic good idea of what he's going to do. And when if we're hearing this stuff, you know he's hearing it. He's just licking at his chops and just rubbing his hands together. Man, I can't wait for them to get out here. His script's going to be – it's going to be wild. So we went through Bama practice, Auburn practice, and that's about all I got for you. You want to get in here under an hour. It's been too long. Guys had practice again today and, working on some different stuff. And coaches too, really getting out there and get to see it. Coach Grubb to be able to see his guys throw the ball, how they react with, people in traffic, throwing over people, and that kind of stuff. And again, number 89, if anybody's watching from up on the mountain, 5 Red Devils, number 89 at Bama. Brody Dalton will be finishing his senior year there at Alabama. I just think it's cool because I know him and spoke with him a lot and covered him when he played up there at 5 and talked to his dad before. And God, he's a big old guy. I'm 6'3" or 4, and I have to look up to him. He's a big old kid. Played at Troy and transferred to Bama. So we get to see old 89 there, old Red Devil. Get out there and play a little bit. And he's in some of these videos. Y'all can go back and watch it here. And text him, holler at him, say, hey, old Big Matt was talking about you over there. Old Matt and Todd, locker room guy. So give him a shout out up there. Coach Benefield does a fantastic job with those guys. High school football stuff around here too. Kicked off for the week. Guys are going in the evenings and 3 o'clock-ish, something like that. Getting it in. It's hot. Guys, make sure y'all take care of yourself and stay away from darn energy drinks. You gotta drink water. Them darn drinks, man, they'll dehydrate you. The things you got to read what's in them things. They got all kind of stuff in them. Just drink regular water. I wasn't Miller Lite earlier. These Liquid Death, I drink some of these every once in a while. Just good old regular water. So, guys, take care of yourself. And thank you all for coming by and hanging out. God bless you, and we love you. And we will catch you again. Well, I guess we'll catch you again Sunday night. Okay? So, y'all take care. Thank you.
Welcome to Locker Room Sports Talk.